Now, what is really interesting is the JFK files. And I'll just for a moment talk about this whole JFK thing. Israel is mentioned in the JFK files several times. And it's talking about this conflict between the Kennedy administration and Israel. And is it coincidental that not too long after the JFK files are released and people start saying, hey, look, Israel is mentioned? Perhaps this substantiates the claim that Israel was behind Kennedy's assassination? That Ben Shapiro writes an article saying, does it really matter? Does it really matter who killed JFK? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Well, Ben Shapiro, apparently it matters to you so much to the point that you wrote an article about how it doesn't matter. Why does it matter? When someone tells you it doesn't matter, usually whatever this person is saying doesn't matter, matters to them for a reason. And they want other people to think that it doesn't matter so they can deviate any sort of negative attention on whatever it is that's so precious to them. Now, it's very interesting because we are at the highest point of anti-Israel sentiment in the whole history of the modern state of Israel, right? I mean, if you look at the entire history of the existence of the modern state of Israel, there has never been a point of anti-Semitism as high as the one that we are seeing now. It's crazy. The levels of anti-Israel sentiment are at the highest that they have ever been in the entire history of the existence of the modern state of Israel. And so in the midst of the highest concentration of anti-Israel sentiment, the Trump administration decides to release the JFK files. And it's gotten the pro-Israel people so worried to the point where Ben Shapiro writes an article saying, it doesn't matter. What does it matter? What does it matter? And all these people are on Twitter and they're showing snapshots of pictures of the JFK files in which Israel is mentioned. And a lot of people are saying, oh my goodness, Israel killed Kennedy. Israel killed Kennedy. This doesn't help Israel, does it? So it's almost as if Trump or his administration is doing a huge disservice to Israel. Just a thought. Just a thought. Yeah, isn't it interesting that the JFK files are released at a point where you have the highest level of anti-Israel sentiment in the whole history of the state of Israel? Makes you wonder what's happening. It makes you wonder. And in Trump's political circle, there is a man by the name of Eldridge Colby. Eldridge Colby is super anti-Israel. Not everyone in Trump's camp is pro-Israel. And I would not doubt that RFK had a say in this because perhaps RFK has a score to settle with the Israelis, given the fact that there was the assassination of Kennedy. And perhaps RFK believes that Israel was behind it. Just a thought. Word on the street is Daily Wire is about to go down in like a month. My friends, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The Daily Wire was at one point in time the empire of conservative media. Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro. I mean, they were on top of the world in politics, making billions of dollars doing political commentary to the point where they started even doing movies. These people had so much money. Well, I started researching what's going on with the Daily Wire because I heard about how the Daily Wire has been going through problems. And it looks like the Daily Wire is declining. Declining financially, declining in popularity. And isn't it interesting? They got rid of Candace Owens because Candace Owens was criticizing Israel. And it started to decline. What's happening? I'll tell you what's happening. Pro-Israel sentiment is declining. And people are tired of Zionism. And they're tired of hearing these pro-Israel antics. They're sick of the Hosperism. because they see what Israel has been doing. They see what evil machinations Israel has been doing, persecuting minorities, persecuting Christians. They see what's happening. People aren't that stupid. People are dumb. That's the thing. Here's one thing you have to understand about the mentality of people who are really, really big in media. If you run a big fat media company and you have tens of millions of people reading your material, you could write the stupidest article in the world and put it out, and millions of people will read it. And then you'll think, wow, right? And so people read it and they think, well, this is an interesting article, but it's kind of a dumb article, right? But people will let it go. They're not going to see it because they love you. They trust you, right? What happens when you keep doing the same thing over and over again? Or what happens when you keep doing things that people have become disillusioned with? What happens when you push an agenda that people have become disillusioned with? You begin to decline. And I believe you are beginning to see the decline of the Daily Wire empire. That's what I believe. I believe you're seeing the beginning of the end for the Daily Wire. And I believe that the Daily Wire will become like the Blaze. That's the nicest prediction I can think of. I think eventually the Daily Wire will become like the Blaze or like Breitbart. Believe it or not, Breitbart was the #1 conservative news outlet on earth. Breitbart. 2016, 2015, 14, 16, 17. Those years were the peak years for Breitbart.com. Millions upon millions of people going on to Breitbart. Everybody wanted to write for Breitbart.com. Everybody loved Breitbart.com, right? Tons of money was flowing in, cash money flowing in like a river. Everybody loved Breitbart. What happened to Breitbart? What happened to Breitbart? Gone. It's still there, but no one gives a shit about Breitbart anymore. The Blaze. Before Breitbart.com, you had The Blaze. Big fat media company, millions of dollars, super, super famous. Glenn Beck was running it. I think he's still running it. Right, Glenn Beck running the whole damn operation. Big, big money, big major media company. Where's The Blaze now? It's still there, but it's nowhere near as big as it used to be. Glenn Beck was on top of the world. Everybody was wanting to watch Glenn Beck. Everybody wanted to hear what Glenn Beck had to say. I used to watch Glenn Beck every day when I was in high school. I used to watch him every day. He was on CNN. Then he went into Fox News, and I still watched him for a while. He was one of the biggest things ever in conservative media. One of the biggest things in media, period. And at the peak of his fame, he did a speech in Florida, and tons of people went to go listen to him. It's like 100,000 people came to go listen to Glenn Beck, something like that. Huge numbers. Ridiculous cult of personality. What happened to Glenn Beck? Does anyone give a shit about Glenn Beck anymore? No one cares about him. He got into Mormonism. He got deep into Mormonism, and then he started to use his platform on Fox News. And he had a very popular show on Fox News. He started to use his platform on Fox News to push for Mormonism. Yeah, he was. And before Fox News got rid of him, he did an episode on Fox News saying, oh, well, the Jews actually traveled to England, and then their descendants became the Puritans, and then they moved to America and established America. Therefore, America is an extension of Israel. And it was going right down the line of fucking Mormon insanity. And not too long after that, boop, Fox News got rid of Glenn Beck. And then what happened? He had The Blaze. It was a big, he still had The Blaze. The Blaze was a big media company. And he was still very popular. Glenn Beck was still very popular, but he began to decline. And then Glenn Beck started to criticize Trump. He said Trump is getting too much into this American nationalism stuff. Boom. Everybody abandoned ship. Like rats leaving a sinking ship. Everybody abandoned Glenn Beck. No one gives a shit about Glenn Beck anymore. No one gives a shit about Breitbart.com anymore. Every dog has his day. Every dog has his day. And then what happened to Milo Yiannopoulos? At one point in time, Milo Yiannopoulos was the biggest thing in conservatism. Yes, a homosexual was the biggest thing in all of conservatism in the United States and in the UK. He was everywhere, this guy. He became the god of the conservative movement. Everybody was following him. Everybody was reading everything that he wrote. Everybody was watching everything he did. He wrote articles for Breitbart.com. He was on top of the world. He was on top of the world. Conservative Treehouse, whatever it was called, would write all the time about him. Gateway Pundit was writing everything about him. Milo this, Milo that. Every headline. Milo, 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 Milo. It became his fame became so ubiquitous that you didn't even have to say his last name. You didn't have to say Yiannopoulos. All you had to say was Milo, and everyone knew what you were talking about. Everyone knew what you were talking about. Milo. Oh yeah, the gay conservative dude. Where's Milo now? Where's Milo? Where's Milo? What is he? What's he doing? Sniffing cocaine off a sink? What's he doing? He's nowhere to be found. He's gone. His last attempt at fame was working with Church Militant. And what the fuck happened to Church Militant? Church Militant, whatever the hell it's called, Church Militant TV, was the biggest thing in Catholic media. It was the biggest thing in Catholic media. What happened to Church Militant? Where's Church Militant? Does anyone give a shit about Church Militant anymore? No one gives a shit about Church Militant. I used to watch Church Militant every single day. St. Michael's Media. I used to watch them every single day. Even before I decided to become a Catholic, I was watching them all the time. I watched Michael Voris's Vortex episodes. Well, hello everyone, I'm Michael Voris, and you're listening to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. Today we're going to talk about Pope Francis saying that we should now embrace homosexuality. This is, this is what's going on in the church today, and we have the church, and we have to follow the church, regardless of what's happening. We got to follow the church. Doesn't matter if the rainbows have taken over the Vatican, and the Vatican has become I'm not going to say the word, but it's become Sodom and Gomorrah. It doesn't matter. Oh, the vortex. Oh, bullshit, right? And what happened? Well, it turned out, and then Voris came out, and what happened? He said that he was a homosexual, but that he found God, and he was no longer in Sodom. And what ended up happening? What ended up happening was the truth that we all knew got exposed, and the lies and the falsehoods got exposed, and it looks like Mr. Voris got trapped in his own vortex. And it turned out that everything that we thought about him was the truth, and he was still a homosexual. And Church Militant came crashing down. It was already on the decline. You have to understand, it's not like it was on top of the world and then it was on the decline. No. It was on top of the world, the Catholic world, that is. And Michael Voris was traveling everywhere. Everybody wanted to listen to him. And then it began to decline. And then the whole thing came crashing down. And it went crashing down, and Milo Yiannopoulos crashed down with it. It sunk down with everything. Every dog has its day. And Ben Shapiro, regardless of his Mossad connections, because we all know that guy's connected to the Mossad, that's pretty much already been covered. You can look into his Mossad connections. Regardless of his Mossad connections, Ben Shapiro is facing the end of his fame. The wave, it's like the roaring waves. It goes up, and then it goes down. The ebb and flow of fame. Doesn't matter how famous you are, you will come crashing down. And Ben Shapiro's downfall, his decline, that's not his downfall. We haven't seen the downfall yet. That's going to come. But we're seeing the gradual stages, the inchoate stages of his decline. The decline is happening because less and less people are pro-Israel, to the point where you have Andrew Schultz talking shit about Ben Shapiro and saying, oh, Ben Shapiro, is he working for Israel or is he working for the United States? And Andrew Schultz is now one of the biggest things ever. And Tucker Carlson, very, very popular guy, super popular. And Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro are enemies. Candace Owens, very famous. And she is an enemy of Ben Shapiro. So what's happening in the conservative movement? What's happening is a giant shift in the zeitgeist against the pro-Israel sentiment. A lot of talk still going on about JFK. Yeah, absolutely. And it's only going to get worse for Israel. I'm telling you. I did a video about this months ago, and not a lot of people watched it, which is fine. You know, I don't really mind getting small numbers of views. It doesn't bother me. But I said in my video, and this was on the title of the video, I said Israel is going to have to swallow a big, fat, black pill because support for Israel is declining. The concern is what will fill the vacuum left by the DW. It could be Tucker Carlson. It could be something like that. I don't know. I think what's going to fill the vacuum is what you see already rising up. It's going to be Tucker Carlson type rhetoric, Candace Owens stuff. That's what's growing. Considering the fact that people like Owens Cooper are more popular and successful after leaving The Wire without their censorship, this is quite telling. 100% correct. Yep, that's a very good observation. That's a very astute observation. Yep, the fact that Candace Owens leaves the Daily Wire, still criticizing Israel, she's only growing in popularity. That tells me everything I need to know about what's happening, about the zeitgeist that's taking place right before our eyes. Apparently, the Israelis are planning to bring back Hasbara thing. Yeah, they're always trying to do that. You know, it's just you're always going to have people who are pro-Israel. You're always going to have those, but I think it's going down. Every dog has its day. You know, at one point in time, our website, shootbot.com, was one of the biggest websites for American conservatism, on the internet, period. At one point in time on Google Analytics, we ranked as like the 349th most popular website on the internet. I'm not talking 349th website in the world of conservative websites. I mean, we were the 349th most popular website on the whole internet. We were getting tons of views, millions of readers a month. It was insane how big our website was. Guess what? We went down. Every dog has its day, and there's nothing you can do about it. I thought Candace recently stated that it was pressure, the French Macron issue, that caused her dismissal. That's bullshit. That could be an excuse or a pretext, but she was very critical of Israel, and that's, believe me, let me tell you guys something from my own experience, okay? When we were very popular, we had a bunch of Zionists who were working with us and who were friends with us, and when I started criticizing Israel, even by a little bit, back in 2018 or so, all those people who were with us would contact us and say, what the hell are you guys doing? Why are you guys bashing Israel? And they would try to pressure you. And they would try to use money to pressure you. And they'll say, well, we're not going to give you any money if you continue doing this. Okay, fuck you. Believe me, Candace Owens being a part of the Daily Wire, criticizing Israel, is something that Ben Shapiro was not going to tolerate. From my own experience dealing with people who are of the same exact mentality that Ben Shapiro is. You have to understand, our website used to be connected to that world. We were connected to that world. We were connected to PJ Media. PJ Media was one of the biggest conservative websites in the world at one point in time. It was all ran by Zionist, pro-Israel money. I know Andrew Cliven, or whatever his name is connected to that world. I mean, we were connected to it. We were part of it. So I kind of know about that world. I have familiarity with it. It's very big. When you get big money from pro-Israel people, they pay you money to support Israel. Yeah, you can talk about your Christian values and your family values. They don't care. That's fine. Once you start criticizing Israel, they are on you. They're going to start using money to pressure you. They're going to start emailing you, giving you phone calls. Oh man, I can't tell you. I got nasty emails years ago. Nasty emails from these types of people. My dad was a part of that world. Victor Davis Hanson. My dad met Victor Davis Hanson. My dad shared a speaking platform with Victor Davis Hanson years ago. I know these people. I know them. I'm like Neo when he could feel the machines, and he's like, I can feel them. That's me. I can feel them from a billion miles away. It's not that. Seriously, just seriously. That's what it is. Okay. Anyway, Andrew Schultz, the comedian guy. Yep, Andrew Schultz is now a political commentator. And here's the thing about comedy and politics: they're inseparable. Comedy is just another form of social commentary. That's it. That's why all comedians will always eventually become political commentators. Dave Chappelle, Andrew Schultz, who else? Every famous comedian you can think of, they all become political commentators. Sarah Silverman, because comedy is just a very, very safe way to do political commentary. You do political commentary while making people laugh, and then if someone criticizes you, you just say, it's a joke. Get over it. And then you're safe. Comedy is a weapon. That's what it is. That's what comedy is. Comedy is not just a nice little hobby to make people laugh. Comedy is a fucking weapon. And it's a way to weaponize political rhetoric. So I'll give you guys an example. I can go up here and I can say, Israel is A, B, C, and D. I can criticize Israel. Then somebody can come to me and say, you're wrong. And then we have to debate it. I can go up on stage and I can make a joke about Israel running the world and everyone starts laughing. And then if someone accuses me of being anti-Semitic, I can just say, it's just a joke. And that's it. I get away with it. Comedy is a weaselly weapon to do political commentary, political criticism, and then squirm your way out of it once you get attacked. Unless, of course, you become like a Dave Smith. And Dave Smith is really no longer a comedian anymore. That guy is just a pure political commentator, and he does debates, and he made the complete transition from comedy to just pure political commentary.